Hey, how are you? Kumusta po kayo? And thanks for tuning in to another edition of Paul Presents Art. My name is Paul and I'll be your guide today. And today I brought you over to the Outsiders and Others Gallery here in Vancouver, which is of course built on the ancestral territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. We're going to go and have a look at a suite of paintings as well as works on paper by Scotty Colin. So this is Scotty's third solo exhibition here at the gallery. He's an outsider artist from the United States, and what we're looking at behind me is his origin painting. I'm going to tell you more about what that consists of, but for now, I hope you join me in this tour, and let's do it. So we're entering the gallery and doing a pan of the show. The gallery has an unconventional layout, and the works are hung salon style. I think it really works well with the space. For me, it creates a density of color and texture that fills the space with energy. And so we begin by sharing a short bio on the artist. As a self-taught artist, Scotty Colin began exploring his creativity while taking an art therapy class during a very challenging point in his life. The creativity that was sparked during this period gave him the ability to see the profound beauty in life while accepting the dark shadow that accompanies it. He believes that integrating this dark shadow helps us move toward a greater sense of self-awareness and well-being. Colin searches for insight into hidden truths through his spiritual practice of mysticism in daily life, with art as the storyline. I'd like to start with what I refer to as his origin painting, titled Illumination, The Lightning Strike, acrylic on canvas, 60 by 40 inches. If you're new to the channel, please know that this channel is about art, exhibitions in contemporary, historical, and outsider art, group shows, art collections, etc. I live in Vancouver, Canada, so most of my videos will be based in that region, but I'll cover exhibitions as I travel. There was an artist talk on the day of the opening, and the artist talked about how, in 1994, he was struck by lightning while climbing a mountain in Colorado. I've never known anyone struck by lightning, let alone survive. And that incident propelled him into an intense awakening that went down some dark paths. But discovering art, in combination with mysticism and spirituality, slowly eased him into a more positive frame of mind. This work takes that experience as being literally the key moment to opening some doors and experiences that are both dark and light. I think the work he does is loaded with symbolism, and we'll talk more on that as we progress through the exhibition. Just across from the painting are these two works. The one on the right is Kahar, oil crayon on paper, 15.5 by 12.5 inches frame, and we'll take a closer look. The exhibition is comprised of drawings, works on paper, and wood sculptures. And most of the frames for the works were also made by the artist in his studio in Humboldt County, in Northern California. After living in Vancouver for close to 2 decades, he and his partner decided to move back to California just a few years ago. This other work on paper is titled Song of the Path Guide, oil crayon on paper, 17 by 13 inches frame. I've been following Scotty Colin's work for a few years now, and I sensed a personal symbolism within his work. There are portraits, face studies, anthropomorphic animals and beings, even tribal-inspired illustrations, and they all seem to represent aspects of his personal and spiritual life. The parallel lines that seem to emulate from the body of this being are like auras, perhaps an invisible glow that symbolizes the being's spirit or embodied soul. In this and in some of the compositions, there are multiple eyes or eye-like marks that make me think of an awakening, perhaps even an awareness, where the eyes are continuously searching. And now we're looking at Shield, oil on canvas mounted to plywood, 23.5 by 21.5 inches frame. And I really like this painting. Something about the combination of the colors and the familiar cubist style that it represents. Scotty Colin doesn't do many paintings on canvas, and this is one of 2 in the exhibition, I think. I remember the second solo exhibition that the artist did, a couple of years back, and I particularly noticed the portrait format that was predominant in that show. That made me think of the autobiographical aspect in any artist's work. Autobiography somehow finds its way from the creative mind onto the canvas, paper, or whatever media the artist is working with. And perhaps the different styles of these so-called portraits represent different doorways or aspects into the artist's persona. We move over to another wall where four works are installed together. All are archival ink on paper measuring 22 by 16 inches and frame. This one is titled Chush, followed by The Way of Illumination, and to its right is The Path of Illumination, and finally Simham. I should mention that all the works in the show were created in 2025, and these four works continue the theme of illumination, which incidentally is the title of the exhibition. The two works in the middle, with a single hand raised in a peaceful gesture, reminds me of hand gestures used in the Adhaya Mudra, often thought of as a gesture of fearlessness, reassurance, and safety. I'm not familiar with Buddhism, Hinduism, or the teachings of those religions. I'm Roman Catholic, so I had to Google it. But suffice it to say that the hand gesture, with the right hand facing outward, with all five fingers extended upright and held close together, has become a universal symbol of peace and benevolence. You'll see various aspects of the hand symbol used throughout this exhibition, and I think that's one aspect of illumination that the artist was aiming toward. During the artist talk, which I had the privilege of attending, Scotty Colin said something happened to him roughly a year and a half ago. He didn't go into detail, but it inspired a series of new work. Perhaps it illuminated other possibilities, maybe ushered in a new era of peace, tranquility, even strength in the artist. As for the last work titled Simham, it's a term originally from Sanskrit meaning lion, which is associated with strength, courage, and majesty. And now we're looking at Once You See It, You Can't Unsee It, and is composed of two parts, carved and painted wood, 19 by 15 by 1.75 inches, and ink on collage / print, 21.25 by 17.25 inches framed. The wood block on the left is used to print on the collaged paper on the right, and the paper was retrieved or recycled by the artist. So there is a palimpsest quality to this work. It suggests the building up of histories, with the woodblock printing over existing documents or texts. The depiction of the all-seeing eye with its radiating rays of light often symbolizes divine omniscience, or the state of knowing everything. It is an old symbol going as far back as ancient Egypt and early Christianity. This next work is sculptural, titled Illumination, I Became His Mind, wood, graphite, resin, 19 by 15 by 2 inches. This work requires a painstakingly high level of woodworking and technical skill. It's a work that demonstrates Scotty Colin's decades-long history with boat building, a trade he learned while living here in Vancouver, Canada. He had to learn traditional techniques and create new ones for different projects. Technically, boat building requires skills to manipulate the wood, from heating to create bends, examining wood grain for strength, and formulating adhesives for bonding. I'm not a boat builder, so I can only imagine. But our experiences often influence the fundamental decisions that we make. And after years of practice with boat building techniques, those acquired skills become intuitive, like muscle memory, that often transcend onto other media. And this large work is Army of Me, oil crayon and graphite on found paper, 37 by 33.25 inches frame. I should mention that most of its materials, from the wood to the paper, are mostly recycled. Apparently, lots of wood is chopped down in the area around the artist's studio, and the leftover wood are simply left by the wayside. There's a community of creative people in the area, and the wood is retrieved and find new purpose in creative works. Next, we have another of those two-part works, this one titled Nadhim Bayabas, carved and painted wood, 25 by 15.5 by 1.5 inches, and ink on collage / print, 27.25 by 18.25 inches framed. I googled the title but didn't find anything. What do you think the title means? I hope it's not a typo. But perhaps it's a made-up word, maybe an onomatopoeia, a word that looks like the image? Staring at the composition, I find the imagery animistic, or possessing the qualities of an animal. Actually, a bear comes to mind. The woodblock is likely made from found yellow cedar, which is endemic to the coastal regions of North America. The image on the wood is printed on found pieces of paper, and I was told that other printed works are available, each with a different set of found papers. I really respect how the artist makes use of found materials. Not only is it an economy of means, but is a sign of respect for the material's independent life as an object, with its histories kept intact, recycled and repurposed, perhaps reincarnated, into another existence. And that circle of existence is a philosophical concept that segues into the artist's spirituality and creativity. And now, here's another wood sculpture titled Look into the Mirror 4, Wood, Graphite Resin, 24.5 by 20.25 inches. In addition to the intricate work done on the front of the sculpture, I want to show you something on the verso that has become, in my opinion, Scotty Colin's signature style. I'm flipping the work over carefully to show you the back. Most of the works in this show have writing, doodles, and images on the back. Remember that first origin painting shown at the beginning? Well, I was told that when it's flipped over, it has texts that narrate Colin's entire experience with a lightning strike on the mountain. And that habit of using the back as an additional creative surface is consistent throughout his oeuvre. Having flipped this work over, I was surprised to see another face made from reflected foil, surrounded by these scale patterns. I like the repetition of form, the interlocking scales, that seem to act as a protective shield around the reflective face. And the last work we'll look at is Illumination. I Became His Hand. Wood, graphite, resin, 45.5 by 28 by 2 inches, which again extends into the sculptural. The imagery on this sculpture is similar to the works on paper shown earlier, with a peaceful and benevolent hand gesture of the Adhaya Mudra of the Hindu and Buddhist religion. The treatment of the wood reflects upon, and is testament to, the artist's technical skill, derived from his earlier experience in boat building. I feel this work summarizes Colin's realization that the act of working and creating has its own relative spirituality. We often think of embodying a work-life balance, and when achieved, will often lead toward a level of contentment with life. And I think this is a good place to leave things. I hope you enjoy this tour of self-taught artist Scotty Colin's recent work here at Outsiders and Others Gallery. If you'd like to share your thoughts, observations, questions, please do so in the comment section below. That would be much appreciated. Click the like button and be sure to subscribe to the channel. It's free, and as a non-monetized channel, subscribing achieves visibility and creates added awareness of the artist in the gallery. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Thank you for joining me today. Have a great day, and I hope art continues to inform your life. Tune in again next time for more art-related videos. Bye!